Now this is going to be an interesting character to talk about. Hello everybody, my name is Sniping is Fun, and I welcome you all back to this next character I want to talk about in this long-running series of newcomer ideas for the Smash Bros. Series, Smash Bros. Ultimate in the future. More specifically, Smash Bros. Ultimate in the Player Pass DLC at this point, given that we got the base roster, no Joker's DLC, future characters, so on and so forth. As I mentioned in the last video with character 144, which I talked about Chrono from Chrono Trigger from the Chrono series, character 145 on this long-running series to 150, we are almost done. I am almost at 150. I am almost done! Is going to be talking about a character who used to be on Nintendo, a set of characters that used to be on Nintendo. Now they're owned by Microsoft, but Microsoft has a working relationship with Nintendo. So I thought of a potential choice of talking about them and seeing what they would, what moves ideas and so on and so forth. I'm talking about them for this game, and that's going to go to the Battletoads, who Rare used to be with Nintendo, making games like 007 GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, and they were really famous on the N64. And on the Super Nintendo, Donkey Kong Country and the Battletoads games on NES and Super Nintendo, so on and so forth. But now they're owned by Microsoft, and they've been doing pretty much jack all since then. Yay! But it's a popular, iconic third-party character on Nintendo that has iconic status, and given that Microsoft's a little bit more workable with Nintendo nowadays, I have to at least include him on my list so I could talk about him as an interesting character. So there's that. So without further ado, 3 separate categories. Why does the character make sense? Moveset ideas and percentage chance I can see him actually getting in the game. Now, why does the Battletoads make sense to get represented? Like I said, I just basically mentioned before, Nintendo's relationship with Microsoft has gotten a lot better. So us potentially getting a Microsoft-owned character in Smash Brothers is at least a percentage, at least is a possibility. Now, some people push Master Chief, some people push Joanna Dark, some people push Conker, some people push the Battletoads, some people push Minecraft Steve, some people push someone from Killer Instinct like Fulgore or something like that. So there's a lot of possibilities. But I want to go with Battletoads for no other reason. They're iconic and have history with Nintendo, which is one of my major reasons I feel they make sense, is their history with Nintendo, popularity since the NES. Remember the Turbo Tunnel? Remember how hard as hell that was? Like, since those days, the Battletoads have been known on Nintendo. They've been a cartoon, merchandise, video games. They've crossed over with freaking Double Dragon. It was on Nintendo as well. So they are iconic, historical, third-party characters that would fit right in there with Solid Snake, Sonic, Pac-Man, Ryu. The list of third-party characters we have basically now, they're the old-school iconic ones. Mega Man, like stuff like that. Rare used to be with Nintendo, so I think in of itself, I think if a character was specifically picked from Microsoft, they would probably pick someone that is Rare, that was a company that used to work for them. And it has about 8 games. New ones. There's a new one coming. I think there's a new Battletoad coming to the Xbox One at this point. I think I remember hearing that they're supposed to be making a new one for it. So there's a new one, and even though it's not technically on the Switch, even though they're working on putting Xbox Live on there, so technically if you can download it, you can find a way probably to play the game, and they probably have it, so there's a way you can play the game on your Switch. There's a new game coming out for a series that used to be on Nintendo. They have a working relationship with them, so a new Battletoads game advertised, even though it's not directly on the Switch, it's kind of come to the Switch because of Xbox Live is technically on the Switch now. So yeah, advertising. It would be a big advertising choice for a character that also has a long time, old school, iconic status with Nintendo, and it's pretty damn popular on the Nintendo brand. So that's my opinion why I think they make sense. Now, before I get to the moveset, I also have to mention when I say Battletoads, normally you would, for those who play the game, there's 3 of them. There's 3 Battletoads. So I'm doing it like an Elf Olimar type situation. Male, female costumes for like Corrin and Robin, stuff like that, like different costumes. There's Rash, there's Zitz, and there's Pimple. So I would say there's going to be about maybe 3 to 4 color schemes, 3 to 4 costumes per Battletoad. And I know that each Battletoad has their own different abilities, so it would make more sense to make them Echo Flares and so on and so forth. But if they got in the game, they'd be lucky enough to get 1 spot. So I'm mashing them all into one character, taking special abilities from each of them, giving them all their own separate costume, alternate characters like Elf Olimar. So it'll be like this game's winner is Pimple, this game's winner is Rash. So it's all different. It's going to be all more separate character models, separate characters in the same character slot. That's how I'm doing it and mashing their moveset together. So, without further ado, moveset. Now, for those that also have played Battletoads, it's a beat 'em up franchise. So there are going to be a lot of physical punching, beating up attacks, and that's the bulk of their moveset. So standard punches and kicks are in the smash attacks. You get kick. So basically like Double Dragon, Streets of Rage, Final Fight, Captain Commando, other beat 'em up fighting games, type of things. The standard form of attack of beating people up is punching and kicking them. So standard punches and kicks, and you could charge them. You could do in terms of combos in those games, if you recall, their feet and their hands get big in terms of like boom. So if you charge them, like punching attacks, you basically get like sledgehammer, like big fists, or like a sledgehammer or steel claws. It might be randomized, so it varies depending on like percentage maybe. And then enlarged feet, like boot with spikes, or a spike ball foot, or just a big foot kind of thing. So it can happen in terms of combos where you're like, or you can just be like charge punch, sledgehammer, charge kick, spike ball, stuff like that. So that's their smash attacks. The special attacks are going to basically be a shoulder tackle charge, which I did the same thing to like the Doom Slayer from like Doom as well. So something like that where they just run and charge and tackle you with their shoulder and knock you over. You can do a headbutt with huge ram horns, like, and they get like ram horns like. There's a spring and stomp, which is the leg turns into springs, and you can jump on your opponents or kick your opponents with like springy legs. There's a jump kick with foot turning into a giant axe, so you jump up and your foot goes like axe and attack your opponent. Arm turns into a drill. Be like like a drill arm kind of thing, like Gurren Lagann. Arms merge and you can do a spike bulldozer. So it's like, and it's a bulldozer, so you run forward and boom, and hit him with a spike bulldozer like trimmed fist. Now, some of those abilities are zits, some of them are rash, some of them are pimple. But no matter what costume you pick, it's going to be all the same thing. So it's like, it's mashing the Battletoads together. I think that's the best way to represent them, instead of making them 3 separate echoes. Sorry. And then we get to the final smash. And I know there's loads better options for representing Battletoads than this, but given that the iconic status this part of the game from the original one has, and quite frankly, it'd be hilarious, and it would probably bring back so much cringe memories of, no, I don't want to remember that, stop bringing back the pain. Ah! It's the Turbo Tunnel. I'm representing the Turbo Tunnel in their final smash. It's gonna be a cutscene one, so you get the smash ball. You get the smash ball, and then you use it and you attack opponents. So you could probably do like a shoulder tackle forward and hit. How many opponents you hit within a short distance, this will be you. This will be a smash ball. Any opponents in a distance will be thrown into a cutscene it'll be. I'm thinking of it like Captain Falcon's one. It'll be a very, very, very much like Captain Falcon's, like how he runs you over with the Blue Falcon. It'll be like that. You get transported to the Turbo Tunnel, and then you're like, wait, what? And you just see them speeding by on their little speeders, on their speeder, whatever the bike things are in that game. There's a specific name, I'm sure, but like speeder bikes. They can flow by, and they ride into the opponents instead of flying off the stage. So it's like an obstacle that you would hit if you would, how hard it is to dodge like the walls and stuff and do the jumps. Like, you're the obstacle, and it like hits them, and it technically KOs them, but they're sent back to the stage. But they're not KO'd, but it's like it'll be like representing the game over screen over and over and over again. They hit you as an obstacle and lose the turbo stage, but technically you're going to hit off the stage and KO'd, so you're the one losing it. If you get what I mean. Yeah, that's it. So that's the final smash I'll give him, just for the sheer funniness of representing that. And that's about it for the moveset. Percentage chance I can see him actually getting in. Not great, but not horrible, but more on the low end side, because I don't know if they're going to represent a Microsoft character. I don't know if they're going to first off represent rare or not, if they pick a rare character, but if they do pick a rare character, it's probably be between Banjo-Kazooie or probably the Battletoads. Maybe Conquer or Join the Dark, but they're very, very unlikely, I think. And then if they're doing a non-rare Microsoft character, it's probably going to be Master Chief, or technically they own the rights to Minecraft, so Minecraft Steve. So yeah, there's that. So it varies, but I'd say maybe about 25% chance. It's not big, but not small. I think it's there, but I think they're one of the lower end characters from Microsoft. If Microsoft's relationship with Nintendo dictates them ever getting a character in Smash Bros. Ultimate or otherwise, they're in the mid range. They're not on the low end, but they're not like high up like it's obviously Banjo at this point. If Microsoft gets a character Banjo, or they're gonna put in Master Chief. So it varies there, but I say about 25% chance. It's not too high, not too low, but it's higher than say Conquer or Join the Dark or stuff like that. But it's not on the level of Banjo Kazooie or potentially what a Master Chief would potentially be. And then Minecraft Steve, obviously, which is Mahjong, but also Microsoft technically owns them too. So there you go. 25% chance. That's it for the Battletoads. Put in the comments if you guys think. Do you guys want? First off, do you guys want to see a Microsoft character in Smash Bros. At all? And second off, if there is one, who would you personally want? And do you think the Battletoads stand a chance? Is 25% too high, too low? What about my moveset? Throwing in, Rash, Zitz, and Pippo on the one character. Does that make sense, or should they just be 3 different Echoes or something? Because I just want to make it simple. One character slot that's like Elephant, all of them, 3 characters in a row, and just mash all their movesets together. It'd be kind of cool. And it seems like they'd have a really good moveset. Maybe you could throw in some of their weapons too. I didn't specifically put those in my moveset, but like the sticks and weapons and axes, and like there's various weapons and boxes that you can pick up in the game. Maybe you can throw that into your moveset too. I have no idea. Put it comes to what you guys think. Discuss it down there. That's it for character 145. And when I return for 146, I will be talking about a third-party character from a franchise that has a few appearances on Nintendo and just recently got a remaster of one of its games on the Switch just recently, and that's an Assassin's Creed character. But the most well-known and popular Assassin's Creed character is not the one from that game, but the one from 2. And my next character is going to be Ezio Auditore da Firenze.